Okay, hello everyone. Sorry that this started a little bit late. Um, so we have Korouva here with us this evening. Hello, Korouva. How are
Hello.
you?
Hello.
Okay, wow. So I see you have your keyboard in front of you, and
I'm gonna
I
play.
was just I was just thinking that this is about a year since Spooks came out. You want to talk about that a little?
Yes. Spooks came out a year ago and it was great. I love that album. I love Halloween. Deeply love Halloween.
Now, that album came out just around Halloween last year. Was it? Um, tell tell us a little bit about what Halloween means for you. It's definitely a very special time of the year for you.
Um Halloween is it's a time when people can really dive into the dark things. Like there's the fantasy side of it, definitely. Like vampires and ghosts and zombies. Um, but I also really like the kind of revelry with death a lot. Um, they're all things that people avoid the rest of the year, it seems.
Hmm.
And I don't know why, because they're really captivating and beautiful things. So I like Halloween because I see other people celebrating something that I celebrate all the time, which is a certain kind of darkness that I see in life that's beautiful to me and mysterious and exciting. So I like that people celebrate that at Halloween. And it just makes me so happy.
Hmm. That's great. That's really great. Okay. Now, do you have some new material you're working on at this point?
I do. I have a lot of new material. Uh, kind of more songs than I know what to do with. And and I want to share them. There's just so many, and I want to share them in the right way too. But I would like to play one tonight. I'll feel it out. I'm not sure I'm quite ready. Let me just feel. Yeah, I am ready. I would like to play a song. My doesn't love me, but she won't set me free. That doesn't know me, doesn't want me, doesn't need me. And when I get so restless, I text us, it's messed up. Broken I don't mind. I just want to pass the time, just passing the time. I'm just passing the time. Flowers on a grave keeps me just a little bit sane. Oh, honey, oh, baby, keepers of the moment too. Are the keepers of the moment too. I'm a creature of the moment too. I'm a creature of the moment too. But I don't really mind, 'cause I'm happy just to pass the time. And I feel totally fine as a creature of the moment, as a creature of the moment. I'm a creature of the moment. I'm a creature of the moment. So, baby, why you still I told you that I feel just fine. Oh, I feel just fine. I really, really feel just fine. As a creature of the moment, as a creature of the moment, I'm a creature of the moment. I'm a creature of the moment.
All right. That was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for playing that.
Thank you.
So that's something that you've been working on recently. Um, does it have a title, that song, or still
I think the title of it is Creature.
Creature?
Um, but yeah, I think it's Creature. At first it was Gloom and Doom, and then it was Womb to Tomb.
Womb to Tomb. That's I like that one too.
And now it's just Creature. It's actually it's written with this chunk of songs that's actually like over 2 years old, and I really want to make the whole all of those songs into an album, but it just hasn't been right yet.
Yeah. One thing I always feel with your music is that it definitely takes you to another place. I always feel like for me, it's sort of a mystical experience, a religious experience. I feel like I'm being taken out of my everyday realm and taken somewhere else, whether it's the past or whether the afterlife, or there's just that quality to your music which has always drawn me to it. And that ties into what you were saying earlier about essentially celebrating Halloween throughout the year and that sort of twilight feeling. I just think that's really great.
And yeah, and you don't just need Halloween. You can celebrate dark things all year round. I mean, you'll feel a person will feel closer to themselves if they do.
Yeah, yeah. And so tell me a little bit about the area you're living in and
I live in
how
Portland.
Portland.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It is forested. There's forests within distances, easy bus riding distances.
Hmm.
And actually, just last weekend, I went on a walk in the forest. And it was beautiful, but I have a lot of houseplants, and I think that watering all the houseplants was really what I wanted to do, even more than take a walk in the forest. To touch them.
You sort of communicate with those, you feel close to your plants and sort of nurturing them, that feeling.
I feel extremely close to the plants. And I feel that I don't feel, I know that they begin to die when it's not just watering them, it's like paying attention to them and having a relationship with them. And I feel like I get that in the forest too. I want to touch everything, and I do touch everything and roll around in the leaves.
Mm. Now, you had a recent release with a sort of a forest project. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I got to make a musical work for an installation that was going to be in the forest. And it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. Um, it was really wonderful to always have the forest in my thoughts. So every time I'd sit down to the piano, I would conjure up that feeling. And especially diving into the icy river is like, to me, transcendent. It's like a moment of doubt and then a moment of diving into the fear and then release from fear, swimming in the icy water. And I just got to live in that feeling for a while, and that was beautiful.
Hmm. And the first track on that is the Forest Trepidation. When I saw that title, I had this idea that maybe the forest isn't always a positive environment. Sometimes the forest can be a place of unease or distress, especially a dark forest.
Mm.
Do you get those feelings?
I feel that a forest is distressing when everyone's moving really quickly. Like the forests in Portland, there's sometimes there are a lot of people on the trail, and I I sometimes wonder why they move so quickly through the forest. And of course, there's all different kinds of ways to be in a forest, but I find them. I never feel that they're ominous. I like how they slow me down, and I feel like if I died in a forest, that would be wonderful. Um, so I don't find them dark. I feel that um, they're just very spiritual places to be. Mm.
Have you ever been lost in a forest?
I would like to get lost in a forest, but I haven't been.
Mm.
I've been lost in a city though, and that was really, um, really unsettling and really frightening because everything looked the same. Um, but I have had an experience where I felt almost like I was lost in a forest. I just felt dizzy. I felt dizzy from the way the foliage looked, and that I couldn't find my place in the forest. So that was similar, but mostly I feel like if I feel ill at ease in a forest, it's because I'm not taking my time and getting my sense of the place, and
Right.
my fault. It's not the forest's fault. That's how I feel.
So generally, you see it as a pretty positive place when you're out in the woods. Feel peaceful.
Maybe the trepidation is bringing a certain kind of city mentality into the forest, and trepidation because of the feeling of, do I really belong in this place yet?
So there might be some sort of clash between that feeling of the forest and the stresses maybe you're bringing from city life and things like that.
I can't remember. Do you live in a city?
It's a small city. Yeah, it's Saratoga Springs, New York, and we're fairly close to the Adirondack Wilderness, which is an amazing place. So yeah, it's can't imagine not having a forest nearby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least lots and lots of plants.
So what are some other things that turn you on and interest you in life and just make you want to write music?
Oh, definitely my body. My body is the thing. Like, how do I even describe it? Like, it's not just that it's complicated. It's like, I mean, it's me, but I somehow do not fully inhabit it, and so I I'm just obsessed with really inhabiting it, and music is the way that I one of my all-time favorite ways to feel like I'm in my body. And yeah, the human body, I love the human body so much. And my senses as well, those are things, those are like the things that occupy my thoughts, I would say, to an obsessive extent. I
And
mean,
you,
I
okay.
mean, yeah, it's just marvelous. Having a body is so marvelous, and it stuns me how much people take their physical experience for granted. And that's fine. You can do whatever you like so long. I mean, obviously you want to feel joy, so hopefully people get it somewhere, but I feel like the greatest joy of all time really comes from inhabiting your physical self, your body, for everybody. So that's what I think about a lot, and definitely think about that a lot when I'm being musical.
So on the other hand, it must the idea of aging in a body and eventually dying, do those ever weigh you down, those thoughts?
Oh, not at all, because it's um aging is, I can understand why aging feels scary to some people, because it's, they have this relationship to their body, but in a way they're objectifying their own skin and not really listening to it and looking at it and um, appreciating it and enjoying it. And I find the idea, I'm not ready to die, but I think death is really exciting because it's um, I'm excited for the next phase and maybe having a body again, a different body. Um, Death is exciting because a person and your body, but your consciousness and your soul become one with everything again. And a body is like this incredible separator between all of us. So it's very special because it's all yours. But when you die, then you get to be free of a body. Sometimes I feel very trapped in a body.
Do you ever read accounts of people that have died and come back or near death experiences? Do you ever read any of those?
I haven't sought them out. I've read a couple because they were in other things I was reading, and I I think that's interesting. I'm not really interested in it, but I think if someone wants to tell that story,
Yeah.
they have every right to tell that story. And I'm sure there's lots of people that um, it stimulates their imagination in really incredible ways.
You're also, you've had this interest in photography for quite some time, and photographing the human body, is that another thing that really gets your aesthetic sense going and your sense
Yeah.
of pleasure?
Yeah, I mean, I really love I I don't know if I'm quite there yet, but I love the idea of photographing someone and it being an excuse for them to enjoy their body. Um, because sometimes it's nice to have someone else come up with the idea. Like someone else throws a party and then you get to go. And so, in a lot of ways, I've approached photography like I'm throwing a party and we can both be at the party together and play with textures and make an excuse to have a certain kind of time together. Um, and I would really like to, in time, I would like to photograph more pornographic imagery than I've done. Um, but I'm not pursuing that at the moment actively.
And maybe publish something? Is that your hope, and get your images out there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the other side of it is like photography is such it's so great to like transmit things with photography and when people see a photo, I think that they first think, "Oh, that exists." Perhaps. And then also I could do that. And so I would love to publish something pornographic or erotic, but through my own lens. And so um, to just create another thing in the world that is positive sexually, but not in a kind of broad way. In a I can't describe it in whatever view, whatever lens I would look at it through. And I think that that would be beautiful. I'd love to publish that. I hope someone publishes that for me. I don't want to self-publish it, I don't think, but
Yeah, yeah. And so sometimes people, when they hear the word pornographic, they have a negative connotation with that. Is that something you want to put it in more of a positive, life affirming
hmm.
sense?
I'm sure like yeah, there's lots of reasons to be down on pornography. Like just for starters, a lot of pornography is very it's from a really masculine place. Like um not just the desire, but kind of everything about it. Like everything about it. And so I guess I like the word pornography because it's very provocative and everyone seems to have an opinion about pornography and um, Yeah.
Well, what I find interesting is that that word came into use for some reason. If it's sex, but it's put in pictures or movies, somehow it becomes pornography. But it's still sex. So I that's a little strange how that particular word has really stuck and become almost a universal usage. I don't know if that's good or
Very,
bad.
yeah, it is very sad. It's very sad. To me, it's simply another extension of not just how people are afraid of their own bodies, but how the kind of um, overriding political system is so suppressive of bodies. So anything that relates to the body, even if it's like sex education or menstruation or any bodily function, is so terrifying, and it's just such a fantasy. It's really a fantasy and it's not real.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you um, did you have any other music you wanted to play, or are you feeling more of a talkative mood at the moment?
No, I just didn't practice it. I have other things I want to play, but they're incomplete or they're.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's fun in a way, that incomplete sense. I always have this idea with your music too of I'm wandering late at night and I pass by open doors of some dark tavern and I hear someone just playing some notes on a piano, and it's just that quality that I really like. So if
I
you want
get.
to improvise or
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will play. Let me just feel for a second. Okay, I'll play something new that is it's really new and it's not done, so it'll just be a little snippet. But I would like to share it. I'd like to see how it feels to play it.
all right.
Someday we'll find a way. We'll find a way. We'll find a way. Goes into
Hmm.
a different song. I'll play just a tiny bit of that one.
All right. Nice.
Thank you.
So I'm getting so excited. You're saying that you have a lot of songs that are already out there, just waiting to get recorded.
Oh God, so many, too
So
many.
is that going to be more like next year? We'll see the something.
It depends on. I am looking for collaborators. Um, I really want to. Um, I really love all of these songs, and I want to build them up a little bit and make them even more powerful with the energy of other musicians. So, uh, possibly next year, but I don't have a timeline. I just want to find the right people that I want to work with.
Hmm.
So that's my priority, but I'm glad that there's people that would like more music.
Yeah, absolutely. So the people that are viewing, I'm hoping that you can see the chat function, and you could put some questions in there if you have some comments or anything like that. I'm not seeing any so far, but I'm hoping
Yes,
that that chat thing's working.
ask a question, people of the net, the internet.
Yeah. So one other thing I want to talk about was you were talking about the your body, and sometimes you feel a little bit removed from it. Just this whole idea of the Lonely Alien song and this sense of being an alien. What's that all about?
Um, I I sometimes feel like an alien. Um, like when I'm out in the world, but even at home, like um, I feel like I'm from another planet sometimes because of um, how I I'm overwhelmed by how sensual the world is, like the way things feel and the way things smell and sometimes the way things look. Not so much the way things sound, but it all feels so incredibly rich in a way that I feel is foreign. Um, and I, I mean, if it wasn't odd, I would probably if I went to the grocery store, I would like to just stand looking at an object for a long time because it's so foreign. And I don't know if other people feel that way about the way they experience the world and the kind of sensuality of the world, the hypersensuality of the world. But if there's anyone viewing this that feels that way, I would love to hear from them because I always am looking for other people that like just experience the world in that way. I feel like maybe other people do and they just don't talk about it, but feel like a great many people kind of seem to have a familiarity with everything. And I don't. And that is both very disorienting and extremely pleasurable at the same time.
Yeah, I get the sense that most people don't really feel that way. They're for one thing, their minds are elsewhere. They're not really focused on what they're looking at or what they're feeling. They're planning something else for later on or something, looking at their phone for something. And you mentioned in the forest about people sort of hustling through there and not really, they're, I guess they're more looking for a workout or something like that. They want to just get the walk done. They're not appreciating the everything that's going on around them in the forest. So yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people that feel the way you do, but maybe it's sort of a shame or something. Maybe it's sort of they're afraid they're going to get labeled as, I don't know, schizo or something like that. Yeah.
I would like more places where I could do that and I mean, I think that, the people jogging through the forest, they're just enjoying it in their own way and I think that's wonderful. And there's a lot of people that enjoy it in exactly that same way. I'd like to find more people to enjoy it in the way that I enjoy it, which is really that far away from my face and everything.
Yeah.
And uh just rolling around like people just don't want to move. Like that's the other thing. I feel like I feel so much movement. Like I always want to dance and move and roll around and touch things and just touch things, just feel things. And it doesn't seem like that many people have a drive to do that.
I mean, you see it a lot in children. If you observe children, there's that sense of newness they have with everything. And
Yeah, they're little aliens. They've just
yeah, exactly.
arrived. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that song "Lonely Alien" though is quite beautiful, and I like the little subtle touches in it, like the harp.
Hmm.
Was that someone else playing the harp with you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Spooks in general was the first album that I found collaborators for. Three actually. Sally Ford, Kendall Core, and Lily Shears, all local local musicians, and the harpist Lily. Um, I felt like she really understood it, and she sent me three tracks of her playing, and I layered them. Um, I love that track. I used to a year. I think when it came out, I listened to that track all the time. Just, just cried. Really, it
there's
was.
some
Yeah.
birds cooing in there, I think too. Some little
Mm-hmm.
um, what kind of birds are those? They're
I think that they're doves, but I don't know.
some kind of dove. Yeah, yeah, it's a nice touch.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went out and recorded on not on Halloween, but close to, and it was pouring down rain, and people were in costumes already, and just I did think if there was an alien here on this night, they would be just having an amazing time watching all.
Hmm. Yeah,
It was really beautiful. I'm happy that you appreciate that track because I really do.
yeah. I feel like you like rain. You like mist. You like fog. You like rain. I mean, I'm sure you like sun too, but I think uh, the rain has a special appeal for you.
I was born in a drought, and so it didn't rain. And but when I was really little, I spent some time in Mexico, like under 5, and I just remember the warm rain and the smell of the asphalt in the rain, and it was so magical. And then I came home and it was just dry and never rained ever. And then I finally moved somewhere where it did rain, and I was so happy.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's been pouring here actually, and it um just feel everything comes alive when it rains, especially if it's a warm rain, kind of warm rain. Um, and it makes me feel really free, like the wet, the moisture and the warmth just makes me feel like really
yeah.
free and
And then after the rain, there's those wonderful smells that come out of the earth afterwards. Is Portland, I mean, is your area sort of a rainy area in
yeah,
general?
yeah. Portland is known for being really rainy. Um, it's and it is. Sometimes I feel like it's not as rainy as I would like, but it's like I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't rain in the summer. I wish that it had more warm rain. Like right now, it's like the perfect kind of rain. It's like 60 degrees, 65 degrees, and raining. And when it's 40 degrees and raining, that's a little hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Cold.
A little bone chilling.
Yeah.
All right, so I haven't seen any chat questions, but of course, people can always post on the in the video comments, and we can do it that way later. But yeah, it's been great. And did you have any closing thoughts?
Um, my closing thought is that really, truly, if anyone does have like if they feel like really compelled to move their body all the time or touch things, smell things that seem somewhat maybe even inappropriate to do those things, I would really love for those people to get in contact with me because I'm I just want to know that there's other people. So that's all. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Korouva,
Thank you.
and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I hope oh yeah, I hope everyone has a great Halloween and dives into the dark side of
All right,
everything. Thank you.
all right. Good night.
Good night.